Councilmember Favor, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember. City Council is pleased and appreciative to have Pastor Derrick Bass, the senior pastor at Serenity Baptist Church here to pray over our proceedings this evening. Pastor, welcome to Council.
Bless you. Let us pray. Most gracious and all-wise God, our Heavenly Father, we come before your holy presence with bowed down heads and a humble heart, realizing and understanding that you are the author and the finisher of our faith. And as we begin to embark upon this new journey on today with this council, we're asking, Father, that you will continue to lead, guide, and direct their path in a way that you will have them to go. We even thank you for the technology to allow them to continue to move forward and doing the business of this city. We ask, Father, that you will continue to bless and uplift this president and all of the members of council as they continue to do your will. Continue to hold them all in the hollow of your hand. Allow them to feel your very presence as they deal with the duties of today. And you do those things for us, Heavenly Father. We'll always be so ever mindful and caring to do your will and to give you the praise. So we just want to thank you in advance for what you're going to do today, the way you're going to do it and how you're going to do it in the matchless name of Jesus. Continue to cover them all with your power and your might. And we'll be so ever mindful to continue to give you the praise that you so richly deserve. For we ask it all in the matchless name of our Lord and risen Savior, I do pray. And for his sake, I ask it all. Let every heart say together, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor, so much for being with us. And tell
God
Mr.
bless
Quilla
you.
we said hello, please.
I sure will.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, Favor, Remy, President.
Can I get a motion to dismiss with the reading of the journal?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, Favor, Remy, President Hart.
This week's communications received by the City Clerk's office are listed on the agenda and will be published in the bulletin. Are there any other publications being read into the record?
Not at this time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any resolutions or announcements by members of council, starting with the President Pro Tem?
No, thank you. Not from me, Council President.
Council Member Mitch Brown.
Nothing specific this evening, Council President. I did want to introduce Police Chief Elaine Bryant, but I think we're still having technical difficulties.
I will come back to you, sir, as soon as we get the heads up.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Councilmember Dorans.
Thank you, Council President. I do have one announcement and one resolution tonight. I want to let folks know that I'll be conducting a virtual public hearing tomorrow night, June 29th at 5:30 p.m. on the topic of short-term rental regulations within the city of Columbus. Representatives from the city attorney's office, the Division of Licensing, and some industry leaders will be on hand to offer feedback and answer questions about this legislation. Any resident seeking to submit written testimony or speak at the hearing should contact my legislative aide, Kevin McCain, at kbmccain, MCCAIN, at columbus.gov. Next, I'd like to introduce resolution number 0113X-2021 to recognize June 2021 as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month and to promote the Columbus Walk to End Alzheimer's on September 26, 2021. Every 65 seconds, an individual develops Alzheimer's disease, and it is the most expensive disease in the United States, costing our nation nearly $355 billion every single year. June 2021 is Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, recognizing a disease that affects more than 6 million Americans and over 220,000 Ohioans. As a degenerative disease, Alzheimer's is thought to begin about 20 years before symptoms for folks arise. Recognizing these events provide an opportunity to promote and join the global conversation about the brain and Alzheimer's disease as a public health crisis. Caregiving for individuals with Alzheimer's disease often takes an enormous toll on family members. Caregivers often suffer more stress, depression, and health problems than caregivers of folks with other diseases. The Alzheimer's Association is the largest nonprofit funder of Alzheimer's research and provides care and support to those living with this disease today and help and support for dedicated volunteers. City Council recognized the important role the Alzheimer's Association Central Ohio chapter plays in meeting the needs of people affected by this disease and other forms of dementia through family support and clinical support. And additionally, early detection and diagnosis and disease education, advocacy, and research, which is why we recognize their work here tonight with this resolution. To talk more about the importance of the work, I've invited Sally Levine from the Central Ohio chapter of the Alzheimer's Association to address us this evening. Sally, the floor is yours.
Hi, good evening. Can everybody hear me?
We can, go ahead.
Okay, great, thanks. Thank you, Councilman. As a lifelong resident of Columbus, I'm really honored to be here tonight to talk about this very important cause. As he said, more than 6 million people in America are living with the disease, either Alzheimer's or dementia in the US, and over 11 million people provide unpaid care for these individuals. We would like to thank all of the members of City Council, and especially you, Councilman Dorans, and his legislative aide, Kevin, for this proclamation recognizing June as Brain and Alzheimer's Awareness Month. During the last 15 months during COVID, I had a lot of time to reflect on the past life events in my life and their impact on my life. Several years ago, the Columbus Alzheimer's Association helped us obtain resources to safely care for our 80-year-old mother with dementia after our father passed away suddenly. I will forever be grateful for them, as they provided a lot of resources and support for us and my mother. She ended up living at the Columbus Alzheimer's Care Center for the last 3.5 years of her life. So I'm giving back and volunteering for the walk as a team captain and advocate for the walk on Sunday, September 26th at the Columbus Commons. Funds raised help raise awareness, support, and research right here in Central Ohio. So those funds stay right here. But thank you again for inviting me this evening, and come join us at the walk by visiting alz.org/walk. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally, and I appreciate you sharing your own family story. I think it's important to lift up the caregivers of folks that unfortunately have this affliction, because we know how hard it is oftentimes on the families, and it's nice to be able to appreciate and recognize the folks that do so much for loved ones that are dealing with this kind of disease. So, Sally, thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Do my colleagues have any questions or comments for Sally? I see President Pro Tem Brown.
Thank you, Councilmember Dorans. I just want to take a quick minute to acknowledge the caregivers as well. And I wouldn't want to let this go by without reminding folks how important paid family leave is to support caregivers of sick and aging loved ones. This is a family issue. This is a women's issue, as women make up a disproportionate percentage of caregivers in our society. And often when we talk about paid family leave, we think about new babies, but it is exceedingly important to recognize, you said 11 million caregivers who are every day putting in the work to make sure that their loved ones receive the care they need in the settings that make them feel at home and often it can elongate their lives. So any comprehensive paid family leave policy that an employer has or that we may fight for across our state and nation must include and must center the needs of caregivers. So thank you very much for highlighting that in this resolution here.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Any other members? Seeing none, I now move for adoption.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Adopted.
Thank you, Council President. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you so much, Councilmember. Councilmember Favor.
Thank you, Council President Harden. Just two announcements. The deadline for the request for proposals for the Housing for All Community Education Program is this Thursday, July 1st at 5 p.m. My office is seeking a provider to assist City Council in educating tenants, landlords, and community members on the 3 recent changes to the city's housing code that include source of income discrimination, rental receipt, and renter's choice. The legislation will be enforced beginning September 1st, and the educational period will help inform the community about these changes. For more information about the legislation, to review the pre-bidders conference recording, and how to submit a proposal, please visit columbus.gov/council/housing for all. Next week, I will host 2 public hearings. The first will occur on July 7th at 4 p.m. regarding the Little Turtle Roadway Improvements Project, and on July 8th at 5:30 p.m. I will host a public hearing regarding the creation of the Cleveland Avenue, Brookwood, AC Humco, and Southeast CRAs. Members of the public interested in submitting testimony can reach out to my legislative assistant, Anissa Lieben, at aaliban@columbus.gov. Thank you, Council President Harden. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Remy.
Thank you, Council President Harden. I'd just like to wish everyone a very happy and safe Independence Day, 4th of July, since we won't be seeing you before that time, but make sure that you keep those fireworks at bay, and no need to shoot off guns and that sort of thing. So just want to make sure everybody's safe and healthy through the holiday season. Thank you very much, and we'll look forward to this meeting.
Thank you, Councilmember. I don't have any resolutions this evening, but I do have a couple of announcements. First, this Wednesday, June 30th at 5:30 p.m., I'll be holding a small minority business hearing to discuss further steps to increase construction contracting with minority companies and getting more of them pre-qualified in our city systems. This will be a virtual hearing with our partners at ODI and our stakeholders. Next, as I usually do, I'll provide updated COVID-19 vaccinations numbers. As of today, approximately 51% of our county has received at least one COVID vaccination, and around 48% have received both vaccinations. But we know that distribution is not evenly spread, so we've got to continue talking to our family and friends and encouraging folks to get vaccinated. Finally, I would like to note that this will be Council's last virtual meeting. Due to the state rules regarding public meetings, we will be going back in person for our next meeting on July 12th. We will release more details regarding how public testimony for regular business and zoning meetings will work in the coming week. So please look forward to that. And with that, just doing a check, we have not got Chief Bryant, so we'll just keep on going, and maybe if we go into the safety committee, it'll be perfect timing. Are there any comments by elected officials, the city auditor, the city attorney's office, or from the courts? Seeing none from my friends. Are there any requests by members of council for the removal of an item on the consent portion of the agenda? Seeing none, may we now have a motion to waive reading of titles of 30-day legislation on tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Thank you. Will the clerk now read into the record the ordinance numbers of 30-day legislation on this evening's agenda?
Finance Committee Ordinance 1582-2021. Public Utilities Committee Ordinances 1244, 1493, 1522, 1543, 1555, 1569, 1570, 1596, 1602, 1607, 1615, 1616, 1618-2021. Technology Committee Ordinance 1588-2021. Public Service and Transportation Committee, ordinance 1658-2021. Housing Committee, ordinances 1505, 1506, 1507, 1508-2021. Criminal Justice and Judiciary Committee, ordinance 1581-2021. Economic Development Committee, ordinance 1650-2021. Small and Minority Business Committee, ordinance 1749-2021. Rules and Reference Committee, ordinance 1663-2021.
It wouldn't be our last meeting if I didn't say something while muted. The following ordinances appear on our agenda as consent. Will the clerk now read those into the record, please?
Resolutions of Expression 114X, 115X-2021. Finance Committee, ordinances 1491, 1554, 1603, 1633-2021. Recreation and Parks Committee, ordinances 1188 and 1471-2021. Public Safety Committee, ordinance 1532-2021. Public Utilities Committee, ordinances 1357, 1412, 1488, 1512, 1520, 1594, 1613-2021. Technology Committee, ordinances 1481 and 1631-2021. Public Service and Transportation Committee, resolution 107X-2021, and ordinances 1431, 1580, 1589, 1644, and 1656-2021. Housing Committee, ordinance 1575-2021. Criminal Justice and Judiciary Committee, ordinance 1179-2021. Economic Development Committee, ordinance 1421 and 1652-2021. Administration Committee, ordinance 1389-2021. Health and Human Services Committee, ordinances 1030, 1257, 1480, and 1531-2021. Appointments from the Mayor's Office numbered A0135, 136, 137, 138, 139, 140, 141, 143, 144, 145, 146, 147, and 148-2021.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there any questions or comments by my colleagues on the consent portion of the agenda? Seeing none, and I don't think we have any abstentions. Okay, may I have a motion for approval of these items designated consent?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Consent portion of the agenda carries. We will now proceed to the second reading on 30-day legislation and emergency legislation. The first committee to come before council is the Finance Committee, chaired by my friend, President Pro Tem Elizabeth Brown.
Thank you, Council President. I have two ordinances in finance tonight. The first is Resolution 0084X-2021 to adopt the 2022 tax budget and to authorize and direct the city auditor to submit said budget to the county and to declare an emergency. This is a yearly resolution passed by council. The filing of the tax budget with the Franklin, Fairfield, and Delaware County Budget Commissions allows Columbus to receive local government funds. These funds are monies collected by the state and shared with political subdivisions like Columbus via the counties. This tax budget will also establish the property tax rates for the city for calendar year 2022, which are not changing. Last week, we tabled this resolution, and as in previous years, the second reading tonight will act as public hearing. Auditor Kilgore, would you like to make any comments on the 2022 tax budget?
You know what, President Pro Tem Brown, you did a spectacular job. You explained the whole process for me. So I have very little to add other than thank you. And upon your approval, the tax budget will be then submitted to the County Budget Commission before the required date of July 20th. Once the tax budget is accepted by the county, I'm going to come back to council and request the council pass another resolution accepting those amounts and rates set forth by the County Budget Commission. So thank you, and thank you all to members of council.
Great, thank you. Are there any other questions from my colleagues for Auditor Kilgore? All right. Hearing no questions, this concludes the public hearing on the matter, and I'd like to move to remove the resolution from the table.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Removed.
And I'd like to move for adoption of the resolution.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Adopted.
Thank you. Next, I have ordinance 1572-2021 to amend the 2020 capital improvement budget to authorize the Director of Finance and Management to enter into a contract on behalf of the Office of Construction Management with R.W. Sutherland Building Company for the renovation of the Police and Fire Joint Administrative Building at 1185 East Broad, to authorize the appropriation of $5,750,000 within the Safety Voted Bond Fund, to authorize the transfer and appropriation of $422,069 within the General Permanent Improvement Fund, to authorize the city auditor to appropriate and transfer funds from the Special Income Tax Fund to the Safety Voted Bond Fund, to authorize the expenditure of $5,750,000 from the Safety Voted Bond Fund and $422,069 from the General Permanent Improvement Fund, and to declare an emergency. This project will renovate a 13,000 square foot, 2-story facility that will be utilized as office, conference room, and workstation for both the police and fire divisions. Currently, these administrative functions are operated out of a leased facility. Creating this new space will allow the Department of Safety to lower operating costs as well as to coordinate administrative functions with greater efficiency and more flexibility. Formal bids were solicited and 3 were received for this work. The Office of Construction Management recommends the bid be awarded to R.W. Sutherland as the lowest responsive bidder. Emergency action is being considered so that the work can be completed before winter. And it is also expected that starting construction as soon as possible will avoid potential increases in costs due to industry trends. Are there any questions? Seeing and hearing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
And that's all I have on my committees, President Harden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Safety Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Mitch Brown. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. This evening, I have 3 ordinances in public safety, starting with Ordinance 1494, 2021, to authorize and direct the Public Safety Director to enter into a contract modification with U.S. Corrections, LLC, for the transportation of fugitives back to Columbus, to waive competitive bidding requirements of the city code, and to authorize the expenditure of $35,000 from the general fund. This evening, I have also present Deputy Director Stone, who can speak to the issue regarding bid waiver and exactly what this program means with regard to transportation of fugitives. Director Stone?
Safety Chair Brown, President Harden, Pro Tem Brown, and council members. Columbus Police has a fugitive unit. There's only 2 detectives in that unit, and they do transport felons and those wanted for domestic violence violation warrants, but only within a 3-hour drive radius from Columbus. And so we need to contract with this vendor to be able to pick up prisoners who are wanted across the country. For example, we had a person for homicide warrant arrested in Georgia, and this company transported them back to Columbus. There's been an increase in the cost due to COVID, not being able to stop at other jails to bring these prisoners back to Ohio. And we have a requirement per the law to get them back here within 30 days. And so these are the reasons why we need to use this company. And they not only operate in Ohio, but all across the U.S. Thank you.
Deputy Director Stone, I have one question for you for clarification. Is this considered a bounty hunter?
No, this is not a bounty hunter program.
If there are no questions from my colleagues, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
President Harden, if I may, I believe we have Police Chief Elaine Bryant available.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
If I may, first and foremost, we want to thank Chief Bryant and Assistant Chief LaShonda Potts, who may also be available to City Council. And I'd like to have her make a few comments to this council. Chief Bryant, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me on. First, I want to say I'm really honored to be a part of Columbus, part of the city, a part of the Division of Police, and I'm excited about this opportunity and just wanted to come on and introduce myself. I've met a few, but I haven't met everyone yet, so I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you. As the president stated, Assistant Chief Potts is here with me as well. We're both excited to get started and be a part of this change. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty that I experienced earlier, but we're working through that. And so I just wanted to get an opportunity to address the honorable board and let you guys know that we're really excited to be able to be a part of this.
Well, Chief Bryant, again, I want to say thank you and welcome to Columbus. It's going to be an exciting and challenging time for everybody. But we want you to know that this council is available to work with you and provide you the necessary resources to get the job done.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And we know that it takes a village. So we're excited to partner and work together and be able to get the things done that need to be done to make sure that this police department is doing the best job that it can for the citizens.
Well, again, Chief, thank you. I'm not going to take up much more of your time. I know you got a busy schedule. But don't worry about the technical difficulties. We'll take care of that in the future. Angie Burks will handle it. Trust me. Okay. But again, thank you for being a part of it. Look forward to seeing you in person and continued success.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you all. Thank you, President Harden.
President Harden, if I may proceed.
Please. Thank you so much, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Next, we have ordinance 1670, 2021 to authorize the Director of the Department of Public Service to enter a grant agreement with the Columbus Next Gen Corporation to provide funding for at-risk youth employment and to authorize appropriation expenditure within the Job Growth Soft Fund, SEP Fund of $60,000. With violence continuing to involve young people at all times, this project will create opportunities for at-risk youth by providing them gainful employment. If there are no questions, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
And lastly, sir, I have ordinance 1696, 2021 to authorize an appropriation of $53,001.60 within the Wireless E911 Fund to authorize the Director of Public Safety to enter into a contract for the Division of Support Services with Intrado Life and Safety Solutions Corporation for the purchase and maintenance of 4 Viper workstation systems for the city's current 911 system pursuant to a sole source provision of the Columbus City Code to authorize the expenditure of $53,001.60 from the Wireless E911 Fund and to declare an emergency. Director Stone, is there any additional information you wish to share with regards to this Viper workstation, sir?
We currently have 30 workstations total, but only 26 have the Viper equipment, and we need that equipment for those other 4 stations. We're in the process of planning to hire 25 more call takers and hope to have a class in September. That is the plan. On an annual basis, we answer about 1.2 million calls per year. So this will be very helpful to improve efficiency and effectiveness of operations. Thank you.
Are there any questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
That's all I have this evening, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Utilities Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Dorans. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Tonight in Public Utilities, we have ordinance number 1495-2021 to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to enter into a professional service agreement with Intellex Technologies, Inc. to provide software support services to upgrade the Intellex system, to waive the competitive bidding provisions of the city code, and to authorize the expenditure of $52,095 from the Sanitary Sewer Operating Fund, Water Operating Fund, Power Operating Fund, and Storm Operating Fund. Intellex is a system used by the regulatory compliance section and divisions of the Department of Public Utilities to track documents and keep workflow compliant. It's a third-party vendor-hosted software system that cannot be modified by city staff, which is why this ordinance is being submitted in accordance with the relevant provisions of Chapter 329 of the City Code pertaining to the waiver of competitive bidding. Do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, I have ordinance number 1500-2021 to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to renew the professional engineering service agreement with CH2M Hill Engineers for the laboratory upgrades project for the Division of Water, to authorize the transfer and expenditure of up to $2,064,500 within the Water General Obligation Bond Fund, and to amend the 2020 capital improvement budget. The current laboratory spaces at the 910 Water Quality Assurance Lab, the Dublin Road Water Plant, and the Parsons Avenue Water Plant are more than 20 years old, and they are in need of desperate upgrades to meet current laboratory, ergonomic, and architectural guidelines and standards. This project will bring these facilities up to current code compliance standards for the facilities previously mentioned, which are all essential and integral parts of Columbus's area water supply and treatment infrastructure. Do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. And lastly, in the Public Utilities Committee, we have ordinance number 1544-2021 to authorize the Director of Public Utilities to renew and increase the electric power systems maintenance services contract with Roberts Service Group, Inc. for the Department of Public Utilities, to authorize the expenditure of $650,000 from the Sewer Operating and Sanitary Fund and $600,000 from the Electricity Operating Fund, and to declare an emergency. The Department of Public Utilities operates and manages 2 wastewater treatment plants, a compost facility, a sewer maintenance operations center, sewage and stormwater collection systems, 3 water treatment plants, a water distribution system, and various electric substations that the City of Columbus and its satellite communities utilize. All of which have various electric power equipment that requires electric power systems maintenance services. Emergency action is being requested to replenish available funds for this project in case of a future emergency that could affect the department's critical operations. Do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Council President, may I move on to the Technology Committee?
You sure can.
Thank you, sir. In the Technology Committee, I have ordinance number 1566-2021 to authorize the Director of the Department of Technology to enter in a contract with Haitian Solutions, Inc. to continue licensing support for Tableau software and desktops, to waive the competitive bidding provisions of the City Code, to authorize expenditure of $136,020 from the Information Services Division Information Services Operating Fund, and to declare an emergency. Tableau is a data visualization and business intelligence software that provides instantaneous insight by transforming data into visually appealing and interactive visualizations. It helps the user see and understand the data more quickly and find patterns that may otherwise be very difficult to detect and understand. Tableau connects to almost every database and resulting in visualizations that can be easily shared with others on and off city web pages. City departments are using the platform for data visualization and better decision-making as a city. Emergency designation is being requested to expedite authorization in order to initiate services from the supplier and avoid any lapse in services or coverage. Do any of my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
And that is all I have in my committees this evening, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Service Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Favor. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President Harden. Tonight in Public Service and Transportation, we have ordinance 1264-2021 to amend the 2020 capital improvement budget to authorize the transfer of cash and appropriation between projects within the Streets and Highways Bond Fund, to authorize the Director of Public Service to enter into professional services contract with CHA Consulting Incorporated for the Signals Downtown Signals Retiming Project, to authorize the expenditure of up to $700,000 from the Streets and Highways Bond Fund and the Street Construction Maintenance and Repair Fund, and to declare an emergency. Deputy Director Soko, are there any remarks you would like to make regarding this ordinance and its role in the Vision Zero action plan?
Good evening, Councilmember Favor, President Harden, and other members of council. This ordinance authorizes the department to enter into a professional services contract for design and engineering services for transportation analysis and traffic modeling to perform retiming of traffic signals in the downtown area. Since City Council adopted the first 2-year Vision Zero Columbus Action Plan in March, Public Service and other city departments, as well as our Vision Zero partners, have been working towards implementation. The ultimate goal of Vision Zero is to achieve zero crash deaths and serious injuries on Columbus streets. One action plan strategy identified is to set all speed limits to 25 miles per hour in the downtown area. Speed is recognized and prioritized as the fundamental factor in crash severity. This legislation marks a critical step in our Vision Zero efforts to slow speeds and prioritize safety. This strategy will enhance safety for all who travel downtown, whether it's by vehicle, by walking or biking, or by using transit. Several downtown area streets are on our high injury network, which means they have a higher density of fatal, serious injury, or vulnerable user crashes per half-mile segment. We appreciate your consideration for this legislation this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions or comments by my colleagues? I know that we all have been receiving emails and commentary in regards to the increased speed activity that's occurring on our major corridors and in our communities. And I'd like to just take this opportunity to encourage our residents to please slow down now that students are out of school and we're seeing folks transition back into the workplace. Folks are on the road a lot more than what they were, a year ago. And so please slow down as you're driving through our neighborhoods. Councilmember Brown, did you have a question?
No, I'm fine, Councilmember.
Okay. With that, I move for passage.
Second.
Excuse me, Councilmember. It's all right.
Just caught it. I first move to remove from the table.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Removed.
Thank you. And now I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
We actually have an amendment that was submitted by the department for this ordinance.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be the last virtual hearing. This up as well. I next move to amend as submitted to the clerk.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Amended.
And now I move for passage.
Third. I'm sorry, second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
That was a dad joke, Councilmember Brown.
I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate it. Sorry, Madam Chair.
I appreciate it as well. Okay, moving on. Next, we have ordinance 1325-2021 to amend the 2020 capital improvement budget, to appropriate funds within the Community Development Act Fund, to transfer appropriation within the Community Development Act Fund, to authorize the Director of Public Service to enter into contract with Danbert Incorporated for the UIRF 2016 Sidewalks P2 project, to authorize the expenditure of up to $576,836.06 from the Streets and Highways Bond Fund and $2,546,123.27 from the Community Development Act Fund for the project, to repay any unused grant funds at the end of the grant period and to declare an emergency. This contract includes sidewalk installation on Steele Avenue between Hague Avenue and Wheatland Avenue, Wicklow Road between Huron Road to Hague Avenue, Woodward Avenue from Woodland Avenue to Rosewood Avenue, East North Broadway from 130 feet west of Hamilton Avenue to Cleveland Avenue, Barnett Road from Livingston Avenue to Astor Avenue, and Chesterfield Road from Denver Road to the alley north of Denver Road. Are there any questions or comments by my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 1428-2021 to authorize the city auditor to appropriate $1,320,000 within the Federal Transportation Grants Fund to transfer cash and appropriate funds within the East Broad Commercial TIF Capital Fund, to authorize the City Attorney's Office Real Estate Division to contract for professional services relative to the acquisition of fee simple title and lesser interest in and to property needed for the Arterial Street Rehabilitation East Broad Street Widening Phase 1 project, to authorize the City Attorney's Office Real Estate Division to negotiate with property owners to acquire the additional rights on or right-of-way necessary to complete this project, to authorize the expenditure of $1,320,000 from the Federal Transportation Grants Fund and $880,000 from the East Broad Commercial TIF Capital Fund and to declare an emergency. The Department of Public Service is beginning work on the Arterial Street Rehabilitation East Broad Street Widening Project, which will consist of 2 phases that will widen East Broad Street from east of I-270 to Reynoldsburg, New Albany Road. This legislation seeks to authorize expenditures to acquire various property rights for the first phase, which will construct new pavement for the widening and resurfacing of the existing pavement from the I-270 interchange to Outer Belt Street, and will also include traffic signal improvements, addition of a shared use path, sidewalk, street lighting, street trees, signal interconnect, conduit, and incidental improvements such as drainage, traffic control, sediment and erosion control, water adjustments, and maintenance of traffic. Are there any questions or comments by my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 1451-2021 to amend the 2020 capital improvement budget to authorize the transfer of funds and appropriation within the Streets and Highways Bond Fund, to authorize the Director of Public Service to enter into a professional services contract with Trans Systems Corporation of Ohio for the roadway Link Us Northwest Corridor Phase 2 project, to authorize the expenditure of up to $750,000 from the Streets and Highways Bond Fund and up to $3,750,000 from the Street and Highway Improvement Fund to pay for this contract and to declare an emergency. This piece of legislation builds off of the previous work of the Department of Public Service, CODA, and other partners to build upon the work of the Northwest Corridor Mobility Study. I'd like to ask Deputy Director Kelly Soko to provide additional remarks on this ordinance. And also we'll be inviting Asleen Rodriguez with CODA to speak on the ordinance. And then finally, I'd like to also ask Council President to weigh in, who's also been an amazing champion of this project. Deputy Director.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Favor, President Harden, and other members of Council. Link Us is a critical initiative for the department and the city. We believe it will greatly improve mobility throughout our region and are proud to work with our partners at CODA, Morpsey, and Franklin County to move it forward. I'd like to now introduce Justin Goodwin, the Department of Public Service Planning Manager.
Thank you, Deputy Director. Just had to find that mute button one last time. Happy to join you all here this evening, and I do have a few slides prepared. Actually, I may not be able to share those, but I'll just provide an overview. Council President Arden, President Pro Tem, Chair Faber, and members of council, we're very excited about reaching this milestone point in the Link Us initiative and the Northwest Corridor. For the past year or so, we have been engaging with our partners at CODA as well as Morpsey and Franklin County and many other public and private funding partners for the Northwest Corridor work, engaging through technical analysis as well as public engagement to develop a vision for a 21st century mobility option in the Northwest Corridor. We've worked with our partners and with our consultant team to arrive at a vision for a premium bus rapid transit improvement along the corridor with dedicated transit lanes and high quality stations with active transportation, pedestrian and bicycle connections to new transit stations and coordinated transit supportive development at transit station locations along the corridor. All of that work is documented in what we're calling our phase 1 summary report that's available for review at linkuscolumbus.com. I encourage members of the public to visit the website to review that report. You'll see some renderings envisioning what a future dedicated transit way along the corridor could look like. And we're going to be taking those concepts into a design phase with the legislation under consideration by council this evening, which we're really excited about. So we'll be building on the momentum that we have today with the Link Us initiative to move into the preliminary engineering phase for the Northwest Corridor and to develop an application for funding to take to the Federal Transit Administration to move this from concept into an actual construction project. These are multi-year projects. There's a lot of steps along the way. We've completed a really important first step, and we're moving very quickly into solidifying the design. I'm happy to answer any other questions that you might have this evening. I would also like to note, and we do have Ashley Rodriguez from CODA here as well. This partnership with CODA and our other Link Us partners for the Northwest Corridor is just part of the groundwork for a larger system of high capacity rapid transit corridors. CODA is leading the East-West Corridor as well. There's exciting news that's going to be coming out in the summer about the status of that project. And these corridors will interconnect and also lay the groundwork for other high capacity rapid transit improvements in other corridors and other bicycle, pedestrian, and other mobility improvements that are envisioned through the Link Us program. We're very excited to be advancing this really important project for the city and the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Asleen?
Thank you, President Hardin, President Pro Tem Brown, Chair Faber, for the opportunity to speak on this proposal. CODA is proud to be a participant in Link Us, and we're excited about moving forward at the Northwest Corridor, which will support our mission to move people to jobs, to their services, and to each other. Link Us embodies CODA's commitment to rapid transit and all innovative mobility solutions, and it represents an equitable transportation system. We thank the City of Columbus for its support for the Link Us initiative, and we thank you for your consideration for this legislation this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Council President?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As it has been said, it is Infrastructure Week in the City of Columbus. And as President Biden once said, this is a big deal. This piece that we're moving forward focuses on several things. One, on equity. If you care about equity, more than 50% of CODA's ridership are African Americans, Black and brown folks. And so as a matter of equity, we can't have those folks, us sitting in traffic and congestion as our city continues to grow and move forward. If we care about working class people, more than 50% of CODA's ridership right now makes $25,000 or more, $25,000 or less. So if we really care about making sure that all of us are able to connect to good jobs and to healthcare and to childcare, and don't have to deal with the indignity of the long waits to get home, then this is something that should matter to you. Columbus is going to grow by 500,000 to 1 million people in our community. One thing that we know for sure is that if we don't make these investments now in critical infrastructure, in dedicated right-of-ways that will move people and improve people's lives, then all of our quality of lives will change if we do that growth without these type of investments. The Northwest Corridor is a crucial first step in this initiative. We are also looking at the East-West Corridor. And all of these things allow us to put together a very competitive application to the Federal Transportation Administration to allow us to really have the real support, the real partnership to build a high quality transportation system, but not just transportation. And we want to be clear about this. We're talking about a multimodal system that connects both greenways and bikeways and pedestrian friendly access, but most importantly also having a connection to one of our largest issues, which is affordable housing and dealing with land use policies. So regardless, almost about anybody in this community, if you care about any of those things I just mentioned, equity, working class people, housing issues, safety, this is important. We need you to focus. We need your feedback. We need you to get excited about the work ahead. We know that it will be long. There is a lot of more engagement. I've been really proud of the partnerships between CODA, between MORPC, between the county that will allow us to take this next big leap into Columbus's future. We have to make these investments. We have to be really focused on this. And I think that we're doing it right. So there's a lot in the report that got us to this place. I would again encourage folks to log on to Link Us. If Justin, if you could give folks how they can get engaged again, find out more information, or Chair Favor, if we can get that information to the public. We really want to continue to drive home engagement as we take this big leap into Columbus's future for a more equitable future for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Harden. Justin, yes, if you could just give us a reminder of how we can access the Link Us information.
Yes, you can go to linkuscolumbus.com. That's linkuscolumbus.com. You'll find the summary report, information about the East-West Corridor as well. And we've also released a state of mobility report that we're excited to announce as well. So there's a lot of great information. You can sign up for news updates to get on our emailing list and to get involved as this work proceeds.
Thank you so much. With that, I'd move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the row.
Brown, Dorans, Favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. And last, we have ordinance 1551-2021 to authorize the appropriation of funds within the Brewery District TIF Debt Service Fund to transfer cash between the Brewery 1 TIF Debt Service Fund and the Brewery District 1 TIF Capital Fund, to authorize the appropriation of funds within the Brewery District TIF Capital Fund, to authorize the Director of Public Service to enter into contract with Complete General Construction for the roadway improvements Short Street, Liberty Street to Sycamore Street project, to authorize the appropriation and expenditure of up to $1,110,868.32 from the Brewery District TIF Capital Fund for the project and declare an emergency. This contract includes creating a new Short Street alignment from the existing western terminus of Sycamore Street to a point approximately 665 feet south of Liberty Street, such that it connects the existing Short Street to Sycamore Street on a curved alignment and reconstruct Short Street from the new alignment to the Liberty Street intersection. Short Street will consist of one thorough lane in each direction and curb storm sewer, retaining wall, water line work, and sidewalk will be completed. Are there any questions or comments by my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. That is all I have in my committees.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Economic Development Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilman Remy.
Thank you so much, Council President Harden. I have one ordinance this evening in economic development. It's ordinance 1535, 2021, to authorize the Department of Development to enter into a grant agreement with Us Together in the amount of $10,000 in support of the Gateways for Growth project of Central Ohio, to authorize an appropriation and expenditure within the Neighborhood Initiative Subfund, and to declare an emergency. The Gateways for Growth Challenge was created in 2016 to provide support to communities that have demonstrated leadership and commitment to developing an inclusive, accessible, and welcoming environment to all residents. Now in its fourth round, New American Economy and Welcoming America have awarded 71 communities nationwide with tailored economic research reports on the contributions of immigrants, technical assistance in the development of a multi-sector strategic welcoming plan, and matching grants to bolster this work. Central Ohio in Columbus was selected as one of 19 communities in round 4 of the Gateways for Growth Award and is one of only 10 to receive technical assistance in developing a strategic welcoming plan. This award serves as a testament to the strength of the community and its multi-sector partners' dedicated to building a robust plan that will benefit all residents. The Gateways for Growth project of Central Ohio will be based on a multi-sector approach of co-creating innovative policies and recommendations through a targeted universal approach. Us Together and the Gateways for Growth Steering Committee have already been hard at work this year, engaging in conversations and research with the goal of producing the strategic welcoming plan by the end of 2021. One of the outcomes for the Gateways for Growth project is already available for review. The Economic Research Report of Central Ohio can be found on the newamericaneconomy.org website. That's newamericaneconomy.org. The data covers the Columbus metropolitan area and has a highlight of Columbus, Ohio at the end of the report. A few of the key takeaways from this research report include, as of 2019, 184,800 immigrants live in Central Ohio, which made up 8.7% of the area's total population. These Central Ohio immigrants made up 8.7% of this area's population, but represented 10.7% of our employed labor force. Immigrants paid more than $2.1 billion in taxes in Central Ohio in 2019. Immigrants accounted for 22.4% of the region's STEM workers, nearly 21% of transportation and warehousing workers, 14.7% of manufacturing workers, and 12.8% of healthcare workers, all critical industries that have been essential during the COVID-19 pandemic. Specific to Columbus, as of 2019, 103,500 immigrants live in the city of Columbus, Ohio. This makes up 11.7% of the city's total population. Bottom line, Columbus is a vibrant and diverse city thanks to our immigrants and refugee residents who contribute to our community immensely. I look forward to providing updates on Gateways for Growth, and I'm grateful for our partnership with Us Together as they help lead us through this work this year. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues this evening? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Passed.
And that is all I have this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The final committee that come before council is the Rules and Reference Committee. I chair the Rules and Reference Committee. I have ordinance 1169-2021 to codify the composition of the Civilian Police Review Board and Department of the Inspector General for the Division of Police to supplement the city charter by conferring expanded authority to the board and the Department of the Inspector General to exercise certain duties and responsibilities, including the authority to develop administrative rules, receive, initiate, review and cause the investigation of complaints of misconduct, make recommendations on resolutions of complaints, make recommendations on discipline, and in specific circumstances to subpoena witnesses and evidence and to declare an emergency. Councilmember Dorans plans to convene a hearing on July 6th regarding the Civilian Police Review Board's rules. We expect some amendments to be made to this current legislation. Councilman Dorans, would you like to add anything at this point?
No, I think you've summed it up well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I look forward to attending Chair Dorans' hearing on these changes or rules to the Civilian Review Board and hearing more about council's amendments to this piece of legislation. If there are no questions or comments, I move to table this ordinance until July 12th.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Ordinance is tabled. It is 6:08, and I don't see any further business to come before council. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, President Harden.
Meeting is adjourned. We have one non-agenda speaker. For council.